Запрошуємо до слова.
Now the floor is given to Colonel Dmytro Hutsulyak, Ministry of Defense of Ukraine, spokesperson. During the last days, we see that the proponents of so-called Russian world, that they do not have neither faith nor tradition. On Good Friday, proponents of so-called Russian world, militants of Russian occupation forces, 42 times shelled positions of our defenders. At that, the occupants repeatedly used weaponry prohibited by the Minsk agreements. In the result of shellings, 2 defenders were wounded. Now, about this information in more detail. In the Lugansk sector, the enemy gradually increased firing activity. During the last 24 hours, the occupants 10 times opened fire in the direction of the defensive positions of the armed forces of Ukraine. 4 out of 10 shellings were recorded in the region of Troitsk. With the use of 120mm mortars that are banned by the Minsk agreements, the enemy shelled our positions in the regions of Valuisk and Lugansk. In the direction of our defenders, they launched 14 mines of this caliber. Enemy used 82mm mortars, large caliber machine guns, and grenade launchers of different types, small arms, and weaponry of IFVs against our positions in the region of Troitsk, Lugansk, and Novolugansk. The situation remains pretty much the same in the Donetsk sector. Here, 32 enemy shellings were recorded. The enemy used all the spectrum of small arms, large caliber machine guns, and grenade launchers of different systems. In the region of Pisky, our positions were shelled with the use of 82mm mortars. And in the direction of Ukrainian forces, the enemy launched 5 mines. In the region of Shirokina, the enemy used 122mm barrel artillery. And in the direction of our positions, they launched 1 shell. The biggest number of shellings delivered by Russian occupation forces was recorded in the region of Avdiivka, Vodyane, Marienka, and Pavlopil. Our positions in the regions of Gnutova, Kamenka, Krasnogorivka, Lebedinska, Shirokina, and near Butivka mine came under enemy fire. Out of 42 enemy shellings of our defense positions, 41 were identified as precision ones. On the whole, the enemy launched 21 mines of 82mm of caliber, 14 mines of 120mm, and 1 artillery shell of 122mm. In order to preserve lives and health of military personnel, servicemen of the armed forces of Ukraine 18 times were forced to return fire using weaponry that is not prohibited by the Minsk agreements. These were service small arms. In the result of enemy shellings, 2 servicemen of the armed forces of Ukraine were injured. They were promptly delivered to hospitals. One is in heavy condition and another is in satisfactory condition. According to information provided by the main intelligence department of the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine, occupation administrations continue so-called call-up of local residents who work on industrial enterprises located in temporarily occupied territories. Draft notices are served to workers who are under 55. After they visit military commissariats, they are provided with information that time and date of meetings will be provided by the heads of the enterprises where they work. And in case they reject this military service in ranks of occupied forces, they are threatened with discharge. For so-called military service in units and large units of so-called 1st and 2nd Army Corps of Russian occupation forces, after check by so-called bodies of state security of pseudo-republics, they involve servicemen who were returned to the occupied territories in the process of prisoner exchange. Press center of ADO headquarters state that overall, from the start of Easter ceasefire that began midnight 30th of March, the aggressor delivered more than 200 30 shellings of the positions of our defenders, repeatedly used weapons prohibited by the Minsk agreements. In such a way, the militants of Russian occupation forces continue to blatantly and consciously ignore agreements of Trilateral Contact Group on full ceasefire for the period of the Easter holidays. Press center of ATO headquarters states that the units of the armed forces of Ukraine in the region of ATO in the territory of the Donetsk and Lugansk oblasts will continue to strictly adhere to measures concerning support of comprehensive, sustainable and indefinite ceasefire along the whole line of contact between the sides. ATO headquarters call on so-called leaders of occupation administration of Russian Federation to stop shellings and armored provocations and to give possibility to peaceful residents of frontline villages and towns to celebrate great religious holiday, Easter, in peace and calm. This is all. Thank you.